Let's take another look at the old dinosaur, Bitcoin. My God, I hope one of these days Bitcoin will become extinct unless Ethereum or Solana or Cardano take over. Alright guys, we are looking at the daily chart for Bitcoin, and the data I have is to 7:40 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on January the 8th. After dropping for, let's say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 straight days, finally, right now, we are seeing this little green candle, which is very encouraging. So far, the end of today's trading session is not over until 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. But if Bitcoin can close like this would be a very positive sign. Even if it were to drop a little bit more, but as long as the low of today's trading is still higher than this prior low, that would still be a big improvement over the past 6 days. Another thing that I like is looking at the stochastic oscillator. These two signal lines are starting to stabilize rather than this continuous downward trend like we've seen in the past. So that is also another positive sign. Right now, Bitcoin is trading up just a little bit, up about 0.4%, trading at 41,700. It is still trading below the key level of 42,000. But I think it is making progress. Another encouraging sign is looking at this candle. We're starting to see a longer, lower wick or shadows. This is an indication that even though there are still tremendous selling pressure, but buyers step in to prevent the price from closing at the low of the day. So definitely we are seeing buying support. How is Bitcoin going to do within the next couple of days? Let's take a look at Bitcoin on this daily chart. Yesterday when we went over the chart, we draw this downward channel that cover all of the low points as well as the high points, and Bitcoin very much oscillate within this downward channel, very bearish. Now what I have here is this square, each of these square representing 1 day. So this is today, and Bitcoin still has few more hours before 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That would be the end of today's closing session. All right, so what we have here is 4 days ago, we had this flash crash. Bitcoin dropped from about 46,000 all the way to a low of less than 42,000. The following day, Bitcoin opened higher, but more selling pressure. Dropped down to a low. So this is the low of this day, and this is the high. The price ended up closing lower than opening. So that was a bearish sign. The following day, same thing happened. We have another low, which is the low of this day is lower than the prior day. The high of this day is lower than this prior day. Very bearish looking. But today, it is really encouraging because if you look at this, early today, Bitcoin broke out of the resistance of this downward channel. This is a very encouraging sign. And then it ran up, tried to test the high of today, get rejected. So now what we are looking at is, even though it is trending down, but Bitcoin is still trading outside of the resistance, now becomes the support of this downward channel. So if Bitcoin can close today, let's say even lower, let's say at this point, which is about 41,200, it is still good because now today's low is still higher than the prior day's low. That is an indication that the price is starting to stabilize. Another thing that I like is looking at the volume. When we had this flash crash, look at the amount of selling volume. Lots of seller. And then even though the next day it was trending down, but we're starting to see buying support. And yesterday, there was this big drop around this area. We saw the massive volume pick up again. Then again, buying support. And now we see the volume is pretty much stabilizing. This could be an early sign that the bear is slowing down. or the downtrend is slowing down and we're starting to see buyers stepping in, and the price would likely be stabilizing from this point, assuming if this trend were to continue. Now, there is no guarantee that Bitcoin would stay outside of this downward channel. There is still a possibility that within the next couple of hours, we could have massive selling pressure and the price could re-enter this downward channel. But again, like I said yesterday, I do not expect to see Bitcoin break down below 39.5. Now, in terms of major support and resistance, assuming if the price continue to trend lower and somehow Bitcoin re-enter this downward channel, the first major support would be at 40,500, where it would also be testing this prior low. Breakdown, then definitely there should be very strong support at 39.5, and I expect the price to bounce up from this point. If Bitcoin can trend higher, the first major resistance would be at today's high, 42,200. Cross over that, then we are looking at is testing the 42.7. After 42.7, major resistance would be right at 43,000, because you can see at 43,000 we see this massive selling. So there would definitely be more seller waiting at this level to dump their holding. After that, the next challenge is at 43.7, and over 43.7, 46.5 to 46.8 is going to be a massive selling pressure at this point. As you can see, there's a lot of seller that sold, but I bet there's still more are waiting at this level to dump their holding. So there's no doubt Bitcoin still have a lot of challenges ahead, but it is definitely looking more encouraging. Right now, the price continue to retrace, but hopefully it would find support right at this level and bounce up. That would be great. Go back to the daily chart. I'm starting to like the formations of this candle now. This could potentially be an inverted hammer, and that could potentially indicate a possible reversal after that. But we'll have to wait and see how Bitcoin is going to close by the end of the day. The only thing that I'm hoping for is the low of today is higher than this prior low. Now, we talk about this head and shoulder pattern. And again, I still don't believe that we are going to see a breakdown where Bitcoin would retrace and drop even below the 28,000 level that was established during the bear market of last year. I just don't see how that's going to happen. And looking at how the price behaving today, it's giving me more encouragement that there is a possibility that we would see Bitcoin stabilize around this area over the next week, and then likely starting to bounce up from this point. And that is what I am still betting on. So right now, I am continuing to accumulate some of my favorite cryptos like Celo, Celo Networks, Harmony, and Solana is starting to look very attractive. That's it for this video, and don't forget to click that like button and reward me with a like if you appreciate the content that I'm presenting. Also, if you are new to my channel, don't forget to click that subscribe button and subscribe, and make sure you turn notification on. And if you have Twitter, make sure you follow me at Vietmaxim, because I provide constant update on all of our favorite cryptos.